Hi guys, it's me, Eman Spencer Diding Lasa, and we're back in today's math tutorial video. Now in today's video, we're going to tackle solving linear equation in two variables by using elimination method. Now there are tons of methods used in solving linear equation, just like substitution method and Cramer's rule, but we're going to discuss that in our future videos. But in today, we're going to solve it using elimination method. Now we have a problem here. It's stated that a grocer mixed tea worth 160 pesos a kilo with another tea worth 200 pesos a kilo to make a mixture of 50 kilos worth 9,600 pesos. How many kilos of each kind were used? Now we're asked for the kilos of each kind were used. Now, before we proceed to our next step, you should analyze the problem twice or thrice so that you can come up with the right answer. Now, you can get the answer by just looking at the problem. So for our next step, we should define the unknown. So we're going to let x and let y. So what are we going to let x? That would be the kilo of mixed tea. How? It's stated here in the first sentence, a grocer mixed tea worth 160 pesos a kilo. So this would be our x. Now for y, we're going to let y be the kilo of another tea. So how it's stated here in the second sentence with another tea worth 240 pesos. So that would be our y. Now that we're done on defining the unknown, we're going to go to another step, which is system of the linear equation, which means we're going to find two equations. Now, as you can see, we have two equations here. How did we come up with the first equation and the second equation? Now, for the first equation, as stated here, we're going to let x be the kilo of mixed tea. So, x plus y equals 50. Now, where did we get the 50? Now, stated here, a grocer mixed tea worth 160 pesos a kilo with another tea worth 200 pesos a kilo to make a mixture of 50 kilos. So now that would be our first equation. For the second equation, we get that by the same what we did in the first equation. So a grocer mixed tea worth 160 pesos a kilo. So 160x plus another tea worth 200 pesos a kilo. So plus 240y equals worth 9,600 pesos. That would be our second equation. Now we're going to proceed to our next step, which is solving it by using x and y intercept. Now, if you don't know how to do the x and y intercept, you should find it in the other videos or tutorials. So for the first equation, x plus y equals 50, we're going to do that with the method of x and y intercept. So for the x-intercept, we let y be 0. So copy the first equation, x plus y equals 50. So x plus let y be 0 equals 50. Now, our x would be equals 50. Now for the y-intercept, we're going to let x be 0. So x, copy the first equation, let x plus y equals 50. So let x, so 0 plus y equals 50. Now that comes up to y equals 50. Now, for what we did in the first equation, what would be on the second equation? So, the second equation is 160x plus 240y equals 9,600 using x and y intercept. So, in x-intercept, we're going to, again, let y be 0. So, copy the second equation, 160x plus 240y equals 9,600. So, 160x plus 240, let y be 0. So, equals 9,600. So, 160x is equals 9,600. Now, is this our final answer? No. We need to divide this so that we can crash out 160 so that the x will be left. So, divide both sides by 160. So, 160x divided by 160. Crash the 160 because they have the common number. So, that left to x. Now, 9,600 divided by 160 is equal to 60. Now, we get our x by x equals 16. Now for the y-intercept, it's also the same. We're going to let x be 0. So copy the second equation. 160x plus 240y equals 9,600. So 160x 160 let x be 0 plus 240y equals 9,600. So 240y equals 9,600. Again, this is not yet a final answer. We need to divide both sides by 240 so that y will be left out. So 240y divided by 240 is 240. 9,600 divided by 240 is 40. Now we have y equals 40. Now, after we did the x and y intercept, now we're going to do the elimination method, which is our main topic in today's video. So, before we proceed, this is how we get the x and the y. Now, for the x, again, you should copy the first and second equation. Now, after that, bring the first equation and multiply both sides by 160, which is in the second equation. So after that, you transpose all of them. So 160 times x is 160 x, and 160 plus y is plus 160 y, and 160 times 50 is equal to 8,000. Now that's why we come up with this answer. So after that, we're going to subtract them. So 160x minus 160x crash out. So 160 positive 160y minus positive 240y, that would be negative 80y, and 8,000 minus 9,600, that would be negative 1,600. And now divide both sides by negative 80. So crash this out. So that leads to y equals to 20. Now for eliminate y, that's why what we did here is also here. So you put the first equation and now you multiply both sides by 240 and transpose it. So 240 times x is 240x plus 240 times y is 240y, and 240 times 50 is 12,000. That's why we come up with this answer. Now we subtract that. So 240x minus 160x, that would be 80x, crush this 241 because they have this common factor. So 12,000 minus 9,600 is 2,400. Divide both sides by 80. So that would left with x, and 2,400 divided by 80 is 30. So now our x is x equals to 30. Now if we do the checking, so 160x, what is our x? That would be 30, and plus 240, what is our y? That is 20, equals 9,600, and we multiplied them. So 160 times 30 is 4,800, plus 240 times 20, again 4,800, equals 9,600. Now add both of these, that comes up to 9,600 and 9,600, which means our solution is correct. Therefore, the conclusion will be there are 20 kilo of mixed tea and 30 kilo of another mixed tea. That ends of our video today. I hope you've learned something. In another video, we're going to discuss about substitution method. Thank you.